Hello, everybody. This is Bill with WWP Reacts, getting ready for President Trump to speak about Greenland and tariffs. Come on in, if you dare. This channel, I'm a retired Army officer and like to just chat about what's going on in the world daily. Try to do that. Just growing this channel. Uh, love to get to know you, and please put some comments in there, and that would be fantastic. Just say hi. Let me know where you're from. Um, as I said, I'm growing this channel, and who knows where it'll go. But let me see. I want to just see how this is coming through on another computer, so that I can just see how it's doing. So can you hear me? Is the volume loud enough? Okay, I think it is. All right. All right. Let's stop this now, and we'll go to the link and wait for the presser to start. I guess it's going to start any time now, but you never know, right? With these pressers, they're always kind of late. I got to turn on my light here too. Okay. All right. So here we are. Well, so what do we want to talk about while we wait? Well, there's so much going on. I did a little video today on Greenland, posted out there, and some of the historical context of United States' relationship with Greenland from a military perspective, from the 1940s, when Nazi Germany controlled Greenland, to the 1951 Accords, whatever you want to call it, where I forget what the name of it is now, but the agreement that we could use that as a kind of, we could put military bases there. At one time, we had 17 military bases with 20,000 soldiers. Today, there's only about 200. And we got a growing threat. As we all know, we have a growing threat from Russia and China, particularly over the North Atlantic. And we need to protect that. Now, Denmark owns it, right? And it's a good thing. And I'm going to drop a link into that video in the chat, so you can all go take a look at that video I made earlier, if you're interested. Good historical perspective on what is going on in Greenland, and what's going to happen at Davos. I'll take a look at it if you like. Okay. All right. Turn that off. Okay. Well, we're just waiting. If you look at what I discussed in there, let me pull something up so I can just chat with you a little bit about it, because I did some research into this the last couple of days. Coffee's good. Coffee, I don't know. I have like only about 13,000 subscribers at this time. Hoping to grow up more, of course. Not for anything extraordinary. I still work. When I retire, I like doing this. Okay, it gives me something to research, think about, and try to take some of the military experience I have over the years, and compared to some people online, I don't have as much, right? I wasn't special forces. I wasn't an Army Ranger. I was just a simple grunt, uh, went in 1979, got out in 2013. I was in the National Guard. I was in the Army Reserve. I was on active duty, served 34 total years. Deployed 5 or 6 times to war zones, 5 times actually, to actual war zones. Deployed to multiple countries as an engineer officer: Honduras, Nicaragua, Panama, Kenya, all over Europe. Those were all the years. The border. Panama, did I say Panama? Those were all the years when I was a National Guard engineer officer and a reserve engineer officer, and went there to, take care of things, right? I mean, we built a lot of stuff. I was in Kumiaga, we built schools, we built medrits, medical places for folks there that could take advantage of what we do down there. So as we wait, I'm just kind of giving you a little background on me and my history and why I'm doing this. So yeah. So because of that 1951 agreement, we have access to Greenland for military use. So it's not like we can't do that. I don't understand. Well, I don't know. I know there's a lot of reasons, right? There's a lot of minerals. At one time, it was discussed way back. I want to say Woodward was somebody. I remember talking that they wanted to do the same thing. In fact, we were going to buy Greenland and Iceland right after we bought Alaska. Open the door, they closed the door, so the whole crowd went nuts.
2 minutes.
That's funny.
Yep.
2 minutes. The official 2 minutes?
Yeah, they just signed it. That too.
Yeah, so we still operate one base in Greenland called the Pacific Space Base, a critical missile warning and space tracking facility. But we can, at its peak during the Cold War, we had 10,000 troops there. I said 20 earlier. Yeah, it was in 1951 the U.S. Denmark signed the Greenland Peace Agreement, and this allowed permanent U.S. military presence under NATO. I went and read some of the agreement, and it does not say that America has to get permission from Russia. From Denmark to have military bases. And here comes the President of the United States. So let's listen to what he has to say.
It's a big crowd. It's a lot of people. I think it's like a record. So these are accomplishments. We have a lot of accomplishments. And as you know, this is the anniversary, first anniversary, January 20th. And it's been an amazing period of time. We have a book that I'm not going to read to you, but these are the accomplishments of what we've produced. All page after page after page, individual things. I could stand here and read it for a week and we wouldn't be finished. But we've done more than any other administration has done by far.
He has done a lot.
Military, in terms of ending wars, in terms of completing wars. Nobody's really seen very much like it. I think it's appropriate that because Minnesota is so much in the fray, and I say to my people all the time, and they're so busy doing other things, they don't say it like they should. They're apprehending murderers and drug dealers and a lot of bad people. And these are just some of the more recent ones that we have. And I can show you some of the people. Vicious,
Yeah.
many of them murderers.
You know, right.
These are all out of Minnesota, just Minnesota.
Just Minnesota.
I say, why don't you
Like
talk about
400 or
that?
So we got out of Minnesota.
Or
I mean, the
these
day
people
that
don't know.
Bernanke
Do you want to live with
was
these
killed,
people?
they were going after,
International
Hey.
murder.
an illegal
These are people
alien
that are living,
that
were
had
they're
was convicted
apprehended
of child sex crimes.
and either put in
And
jails
this
in
is
their
what they're-
country from
this
where
is
they
what
came,
they're
or the countries respect
like,
us, and so they
fighting
actually
us
put them there.
So I'm going to listen,
In
President.
the old days, they didn't
Thanks for
respect our
joining,
country.
whoever that is.
Biden wouldn't
Say
do
hello
this
in the chat
because
if you want. Love to
he
get
let
to
them
know
all
you.
in.
My name's Bill.
You know, if you didn't have
retired
open border
Army officer,
policies
and
and Biden, none of
this
this, all
channel,
the things that we,
WWP
all the
Reacts,
time that we spend
to
talking about
discuss and
Minnesota
give,
and
some
everything else,
context
most of them
from
are
my
coming
perspective as an
from out of the
ex-military
country. And
officer, to current events and global
caused
conflicts.
by a previous administration. Look at this, one after one. Boy, these are rough characters. These are all criminal, illegal aliens that
He's having a good
in
time.
many cases they're murderers, they're drug lords,
He's having a good time.
drug dealers,
That's for sure.
they're the mentally insane.
Yeah, he
Some of them
deserves it, you
who
know.
are brutal killers, they're mentally insane. They're killers, but they're insane.
And they're here in America.
These are just in Minnesota,
If you let all these
California.
people in
It's
unvetted,
worse. In other states, it's worse. No, Minnesota, the crime is incredible. The financial crimes are incredible. And the problem is because of
you know, I love it when they
the agitators
good
and
and white
insurrectionists, whatever you want, troublemakers.
they didn't
but
care about the white woman that
they're
was
paid
killed in
agitators
Charlotte.
and insurrectionists.
The sweet
Nobody
young
talks
woman
about the
was-
fact that $19 billion at a minimum is
I mean,
missing
all these
in
white women,
Minnesota,
the
given to a large
near me,
degree
here,
by
in Georgia,
Somalians.
Lincoln Riley,
They've taken
killed
it.
by an illegal alien.
Somalians.
Well,
Can
she
you
was out for a
imagine?
run on college,
they don't
camp,
do
right
it.
off the college
A
camp.
lot of very low IQ people, they don't do it. Other people work it out and they get them money and they go out and buy Mercedes Benzes and they come from here. They have no money. They never had money. They never had a life. They never had a government. They never had a country because there's basically no country. Somalia is not even a country. They don't have anything that resembles a country. And if it is a country, it's considered just about the worst in the world. They come here and they become
Well, the funny thing is that
rich
the
and they don't have a
Somali
job.
president,
I was told that
Somali
Ilhan Omar is worth $30 million. She
head
never
of
had
the
a job.
UN, I saw last week.
She's a
when
crooked
we were
congressman.
Talking about the whole Iranian thing last
So
week.
here is another one. And I have, oh, by the way, we just took out, that's what, these are all what ICE is doing. And it's a dangerous job. These are rough people. Weapons. This one here is very bad. I'm going through this because I think we have plenty of time. I'm going to this beautiful place in Switzerland where we'll be, I'm sure I'm very happily awaited for. In Switzerland, they don't know about this. They don't have this problem. They have other problems, but they don't have this problem. Look, killed somebody. And these are rough people. These are not, this was all allowed into our country through open borders. These dumbest policies, you know, men and women's sports is dumb. But to me, having an open border for the world to come in, drug dealers and prisoners, Venezuela, as an example, opened their prisons into the United States. That's why one of the reasons I felt so strongly against Venezuela. Now I'm loving Venezuela. They've been working with us so well. It's been so nice.
The old
And,
regime, though, is still in power.
Unbelievably nice woman also did a very incredible thing.
So I don't know how
a few
that's
days
going to
ago.
work out in the long run.
We're talking to her and maybe we can get her involved in some way. I'd love to be able to do that.
The
Maria,
child-
maybe we can do that. But we're dealing with the people and the president and all of the people in Venezuela, and we've been doing great. The oil companies are getting ready to make massive investments there. They have more oil than even Saudi Arabia. There you go.
You left me.
These are real,
No.
these are rough ones.
That's
This
all
is
right.
all
I
Minnesota,
gotta
every one of
just-
them.
I gotta
This
get
is one
out
state.
there so people start
out of many.
seeing who I am.
And these people are, let's see, yeah, these are all so far people that came from outside of the country. They were allowed in by Sleepy Joe Biden, Crooked Joe Biden, whichever you like. You can call him whatever you like. They're both right. He's sleepy and he's crooked. He's the worst president we've ever had. And we've had some bad ones too. I can tell you, all you have to do is
I'm
look
just
at
gonna
trade.
watch the president. I'm not gonna watch all the crazy stuff after that.
You're not getting bored with this, right? I hope you don't. But these are people that you have to see. Strong arm rape, aggravated assault with a weapon, and many other crimes. Gang member, known as one of the toughest people around. These are tough people. So this is what the people are trying to protect, because all ICE wants to do is get them out of our country, bring them to prisons and jails and mental institutions from where they came. That's all they want to do.
It's all
They're
they're trying to do.
patriots, and they have to be abused by guys like Don Lemon, who's a loser, lightweight. I saw him the way he walked in that church. It was terrible. I have such respect for that pastor. He was so calm. He was so nice. He was just accosted. What they did
He was impressive.
in that church was horrible yesterday. Look at it here. 24 convictions. 24 times convicted.
It's still in our country.
Not charges. These are convictions. So he comes from outside the country. Do you think he's going to be good here? He's convicted 24 times. He's going to be good here, right? It doesn't work that way. It's a man murder. It's one of many. One of many. All they want to do is get him out. They want to take him out of our country. And we're met with paid agitators and insurrectionists, troublemakers. They're paid. You know, when the woman was shot, and I felt terribly about that. And I understand both sides of it. But when she was shot, there was another woman that was screaming shame, 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 right? You saw it. So loud. Like a professional opera singer. She was so loud and so professional. She wasn't a woman that was hurt, like, oh, my heart's injured. She was a professional. Shame, shame. She's screaming, shame, shame. I said, that's not a normal person. That's a professional. These are professional agitators and professional people that want to see our country do badly. But that's not happening because we have the hottest country anywhere in the world, despite this stuff. Look at this. All top of the line criminals. They're not going to be good. They're not going to be well behaved
I thought he
here.
was going to talk about Greenland. He hasn't said anything about Greenland.
I could
yet.
do thousands. We had
He's
over
probably holding that close
3,000
to
in the
the chest
last
because he's
fairly
going to
short while.
Davos.
Just in
Talk to all
Minnesota.
those
What's the number?
leaders, right? He's going to talk to
10,000.
10,000 criminals arrested.
the Finnish.
10,000 criminals. And these are serious criminals. Now, how can a
Denmark,
place with
Finland,
10,000
Norway,
criminals, how can
Germany.
you have a state? And yet they're fighting us. Yeah, I like that guy. He keeps nodding to me. You agree with me, I guess. I like him. I don't know who he is, but I like him. He keeps nodding. He says, you're right. He's obviously a little on the right side, maybe. Look. These are rough ones.
I tell you,
So
he's
we just took this off a stack. We have many stacks like
83
this,
years
like
old. Can you imagine having
I
that
could
kind of
go
energy and
30
intelligence?
times what I'm showing
I
you
mean,
now.
I'm almost 65, and I cannot imagine. I don't even want.
Relations with Hezbollah. That's
Luckily,
nice.
I get to work from home.
Why do we allow them in our
Semi-retired,
country?
but I don't know. You know,
Mm.
I used to have that energy.
I'm just looking at these
It
charges.
leaves from his
It's
heart,
just
which is
pretty
refreshing.
incredible. Many murderers, many murderers. People that
They
murdered.
need to do this. You know, President Trump did not have to do this. And he leads from his heart. And he cares about America. Always has. They always love them.
So what ICE does, and Border Patrol is incredible too. I mean, Paul Perez and that group is incredible. Mostly Hispanic, by the way. They're like 60% Hispanic. You know, they talk about Hispanic. They're mostly Hispanic, right? And they're unbelievable people. And then they say, oh, we discriminate against. I love Hispanic. They are unbelievable, entrepreneurial. They have everything. I did great. I did the highest. Nobody ever got numbers like I got from the standpoint of being a Republican. But even if you look at Texas, I won the entire border along Texas, between Texas and Mexico. It never happened before. Nobody's ever done that before. I did it as a Republican. I did it. I love the Hispanic. And they accuse us of all sorts of things. 60% of the people we're talking about, they're the best people we have, and they're Hispanic. The Border Patrol is largely Hispanic. ICE is largely Hispanic. They're unbelievable people. I don't know how they can take the abuse. They're taking rough.
Yeah,
They're taking rough.
That's right. That's a
people
great
like
comment.
this,
Most
like all
of
of
the
them.
ICE, a
We
lot
have-
of the ICE officers.
So we have 10,000 at
Hispanic.
least. I
American
could have done
Hispanic
10,000 of them. You're lucky I only
law
did
enforcement officers.
like 100. And this isn't even the worst of the group. They have murderers. They have some people we can't use their picture for legal reasons, but they're up for murder in their own country.
Wow, that's
And
crazy.
we jeopardize their case. When we send them back and we coordinate
Well,
with other
welcome to my
countries.
channel.
Tremendous
Thanks for
amount of
joining.
work.
My
We're all allowed in here by an open border
tired of
policy of the
me.
worst president
I'll
in
stop talking.
the history of our country. A man that didn't win the election, by the way, it's a rigged election. Everybody knows that now. And by the way, numbers are coming out that show it even more plainly. We caught him. So I just want you to know that it's a terrible thing. Here's the book on accomplishments. And this is something, I'm glad my finger wasn't in that sucker. That could have done some damage, but you know what? I wouldn't have shown the pain. I would have gone back. Oh, did you hear that?
He's a character.
That was nasty.
He's a
But I would not have shown the pain. I would have acted like nothing happened as my finger fell off. That was nasty. I think somebody did that. It was him. It was my man. How were you? You didn't do it. I know you did. So, but here's the book. These are all things we have. I'm going to read a few of the samples, but look at this. These are all, each line is something that we did. Nobody did that before. And it's big stuff too. Look, we have the hottest country in the world.
He throws it.
So I will read you a few. We ended Biden's stagflation. We were in stagflation. That's a disaster. That's far worse than inflation. As you know, he had the biggest inflation in the history of our country. They say 48 years. Pick your choice. But they had the biggest inflation in the history of our country. We have it right down to a normal number now. We're going to get it even a little bit lower. Created super high. What we've done with growth is incredible. We created super high economic growth, and America is booming. It's booming. There are thousands of businesses right now that are being built. Many of the biggest factories in the world are being built right in our country. They're not going to other countries. They're leaving other countries. Fourth quarter GDP is on track to pass perhaps much more than 5% growth, and that's despite the fact that we had a Democrat shutdown. They shut down our country, and we had 5%. Nobody's in this room has ever heard about 5%. I think it could be 20% if we do it right. If we don't, every time we have good numbers, they raise interest rates. You shouldn't do it. In the old days, if you had good numbers, they'd lower interest rates, or they wouldn't do anything. Here, they try and kill it. They always try and kill success. Over the last 20, 25 years, that's the way. In the old days, if you had good numbers, the market would go through the roof. Today, if you have good numbers, the market goes down. But by the way, we've had the best stock market in history, the best 401ks in history. And we inherited a mess. The numbers that we inherited were way up, and now we brought them, almost all of them, way down. We brought them way down. I mean, I'm not getting, maybe I have the bad public relations people, but we're not getting it across. We inherited high numbers, and we brought them way down. And look at gasoline. They have places in the country now, $1.99 a gallon. $1.99, $2.30, $2.50. I guess the average now they're saying is $2.31. I mean, he was at $4.50 and $5 for periods of time. And he went back to the Trump formula, but he didn't do it properly. And he really went back to parts of it because you would have had $8 gasoline if they did. Months is 1.6%. 1.6. Their core inflation was so nobody could even calculate it. Under Biden, real incomes declined $3,000. Think of that, $3,000. That's a year. In 12 months, Trump real incomes went up by $2,000 and $3,000 and even in some cases $5,000. It's a tremendous difference. Stock market has set 52 all-time record highs during the course of the 11 months, because this was done on 11 months. Now we are actually officially 12 months as of today. 52 all-time record highs. That means 401ks did great. I have people see me all the time, policemen that guard us really well, and got to know them a little bit. They said, "Sir, you're making me look so good. My 401k is through the roof. My wife thinks I'm the greatest genius, and I'm a financial genius, like Warren Buffett." He told me that. He said, I think they have better returns than Warren Buffett right now. But he said, all my life, my wife has been criticizing me for not being smart financially. Now, all of a sudden, she loves me more. But we added $9 trillion in value to retirement accounts, saving many people. I mean, they were going out of business. Think of it. We added $9 trillion of value to retirement accounts, savings accounts, and 401ks. That's during the course of 12 months. And I think it's probably 11 months because I don't think they have it for the 12. They have it for the 11. Added $9 trillion of value. Lifted more than 1.2 million Americans off food stamps in 1 year. They would have had another 1.2 million. We would have had, welfare would have gone up. And instead of investing $18 trillion in our country, now it's probably more than that, but $18 trillion and having thousands of plants being built all over the country, you would have had thousands of plants closing all over the country. And you would have had disinvestment, and you would have had welfare going way up. You know, if you look at SNAP, take a look at SNAP,
Sure.
What happened with that? Was it $7 billion? And it came out to over $51 billion. Nobody has ever seen anything like it. The past administration had no clue, or they were really bad, but they basically had no clue. But they did have a concept. I mean, they're still trying to sell the idea of men playing in women's sports. Playing in women's sports doesn't work. Secured a record-breaking $18 trillion in commitments for new investments. Apple.
I lost my channel. What happened? All right, let's go to YouTube. I don't know what happened there. Gosh, hold on. I'm pulling it back up. I must have closed something. Trying to make sure that yeah, I did. I'm pulling it right back up, people. Thanks for joining. My name's Bill. This is my new channel, WW Reacts. I'm a retired Army officer. I'd like to talk about world conflicts. Try to keep busy doing that. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna go right into right here. There we go. We're gonna stream this right here. I lost a couple people, but that happens.
It back. I don't know how that's going to be done very easily without hurting.
Got him back.
But we're waiting for that case anxiously, and we have tremendous national security because of tariffs and tremendous income. You know, we have, and by the way, no inflation. So everyone said, oh, tariffs will cause inflation. We have no inflation. We have very little inflation. Biden had inflation and he didn't do tariffs. We had a huge problem. We have a 62% reduction in our trade deficit. So if you had a 1% reduction, a normal president would have a 1%, 2% reduction. Everybody would be high-fiving. At a 62% reduction, next year we won't have a trade deficit. We secured most favored nations agreements to slash drug prices by as much. And to me, I think this might be the biggest thing of all. We get zero talk about it.
Thanks for joining, folks.
The New York Times had a
Bill,
story way in the back of the
I'm gonna
paper, a
interrupt the
little
president.
story about it. I think it's the biggest thing there is. When you talk about healthcare, drug prices will go down more than ever before for any country because we were priced at such a level that we were subsidizing the entire world, big place in the world. We were paying 10, 12, 13 times more than other countries. 13 times more, not 13%, 13 times more. A pill that was selling in London for $10 would sell in New York for $130. It's 13 times. More than that even. But we secured most favored nations agreements to slash drug prices by as much as 300, 400, 500, and even 600%, including with Pfizer, AstraZeneca, Eli Lilly, Nova Nordisk, Gilead Sciences, EMD, Serenio, and many others. If you look at some of the prices that are coming down, where a price would come down
folks.
$1,300
President, he's on a roll.
coming down to $87. Think of it. So something that was costing $1,300 is now costing $87. And the fake news doesn't want to write about it. That's why I do this. I don't like to do this, to be honest with you. But I do it because got to get the word out. We signed one big, beautiful bill. I call it the Great Big Beautiful Bill, delivering the largest tax cuts in history. No tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime. We made interest on car loans tax deductible for U.S. built automobiles only. So if you buy an automobile built in the United States, we're not doing it for Germany and Canada. And
I don't want to interrupt, so I'm typing.
we're doing it only if it's built here. We want them to be built here. A lot of the Canadian auto plants are closing and they're moving into the United States. Same thing with Mexico, same thing with Germany, and same thing with Japan and other countries. They're moving into the United States because of tariffs, because they don't want to pay the tariffs. It's too much. They can't pay the tariffs. So they're coming here. Nothing different than what other smart countries did, but it works better for us. Under my leadership, it's not done properly, but it's done properly. We have, again, more plants being built than at any time in the history of our country. Passed the largest spending cuts in American history, and that was true in my first. We had a tremendous first term also. We rebuilt our military. We had one of the best. We had the best economy in the history of our country, but we're blowing it away now. When this stuff starts opening up, you're not going to see anything like it probably ever again. We slashed the federal budget deficit by 27% in a single year. Think of that, 27. You could do it 2%, 1%, 0.5%, 27%. And that's with all of the things we have to do, all of the people we have to put on the payroll to get rid of people that are murderers. Again, when you see people in Minnesota that are murderers, these people are fighting to keep them there. And I say to Christie and to Tom Homan, the great people, they're working so hard. Look at the border. The border is now secure. First time, Biden said you couldn't do it. You need legislation. I had no legislation.
He just didn't do it.
Within 1 month, we had almost nobody coming in. Now for the last 8 months, nobody came into our country illegally. And I find that hard to believe because you'd think somebody, because it used to be millions of people just poured into our country. And the people that do that are Democrat sort of aligned. So, they're not doing me any favors. We had nobody come in. We have a very strong border. We have very few people coming up. They're not going to make the trek because they know they probably won't be coming in. So it's not as hard as you think. But I didn't have to go back. Remember, they said, we need legislation to close the border. They had millions of people coming in a month. We have nobody coming in, and we're getting the murderers out. Murderers, people from prisons and jails. Many countries opened up their prisons and dropped them into the United States. Those are the people we're getting out. And we have a lot of heart. And I said, you got to lighten up on this. We have a lot of heart for people. They came in illegally, but they're good people, and they're working now on farms, and they're working in luncheonettes and hotels and all. And we're looking to get the criminals out right now, the criminals. And I think it's very important. I mean, every once in a while you see a story, we take somebody, he should be out because they came in illegally. So in theory, they should be, but we're focused on the murderers, the drug dealers, the mentally insane. We have a lot of mentally insane killers. I mean, you can't even talk to them. It'd be nice if you could have a little reason, but you can't even reason. These are seriously ill people. You have a couple of countries where they were loaded up. Their mental institutions and insane asylums were loaded to the gills. They could. Yep. They're empty now. Bringing them all back. They had so little respect that they'd bring them there, and they wouldn't take them. They said, "Get the hell out of here." They would be bringing a plane in to land in a country, and they'd put 5 planes on the runway so you couldn't land the plane. So they'd come back with the people that they were bringing back. They don't do that with me. They do that with me. They have problems. They don't do it. They accept them back. They're not happy about it, but they accept them back. Cut a record number of regulations. I promised to eliminate 10 old regulations for every one new regulation. Instead, we cut 129 old regulations for each one added. Think of that. I wanted to do 10. My first 4 years, I did. When we put on a new regulation, you had to cut 8. This year, I said you have to cut 10. Instead, we cut 129. So every time so far, can't remain like that, I don't imagine. I hope I can, because we have so much wasted regulation, stupid regulations. Regulations where they go by California, which is a disaster state, with a governor that truly is doing a bad job. He's killing that state. If he ever ran the country, this country would be Venezuela very quickly. Using tariffs slash the U.S. trade deficit by an incredible 77%. The trade deficit is down, and that doesn't include the last month where we had our best month. We slashed the trade deficit by an incredible 77% in 1 year with no inflation, something that everyone said could not be done. So we had essentially no inflation. In fact, the last month we had almost no inflation. But we slashed the trade deficit by 77%. If you slash it by 1%, that was good. Again, we did that with tariffs and intelligence. We did that with November 5th, great election. We secured historic trade deals to reduce barriers on U.S. exports with countries covering 40% of all U.S. trade. Think of that. American exports are up by more than $150 billion this year. People said, oh, we're not exporting. All we do is
$150
buy.
billion.
If you keep buying, you're not going to have a country.
This is 1 year anniversary, by the way.
So we increased exports by more than $150 billion.
For the second term.
Investment in American factories is up 41%. That's a record. Nobody goes 41% up. You go 2% up, 1% up. You go down by 3%. If Kamala got elected, the 41% up would be 41% down. We removed over 270,000 bureaucrats from the federal payroll. That's another thing. So we have, we announce our unemployment numbers, call it unemployment or employment. And they were very good, but we could make them great. But we've slashed tremendous numbers of people off the federal payroll.
A lot of the unemployment
Because
stuff,
ultimately,
federal
if you're on the
growth.
federal payroll,
Right.
I mean, we have jobs where they had 10 people for every job.
Right.
So we cut. Now, if you want to see some good numbers, I'll hire 1 million people. We cut millions of people off the federal payroll. I don't like doing that, but
Thanks for joining.
the good news, I don't feel badly because they're getting private sector jobs and they're getting sometimes twice as much money, 3 times as much money. They're getting factory jobs. They're getting much better jobs and much higher pay.
I don't know
But
that.
all I have to do is say, like, what the Democrats do all the time. They hire 1 million people, and then they hire another million. They load it up, and it says, oh, they only have a 3% unemployment rate. It's a fake rate. So with us, we're proud of the fact that we cut so many because, again, I don't want to cut people. But when you cut them and they go out and get a better job, I like to cut them. And sometimes they have to be forced to do that because, it's like they want to stay where they are. They don't know. And then all of a sudden they end up, we have many cases, Caroline, where people were devastated. They hated Trump. I got caught from my very boring federal job where they had, again, sometimes 10 people to do one job. And they were very upset. And now they ended up with a job where they get paid 3 times more money. They're ending up buying houses. It's like crazy. So they went from not liking me to liking me a lot because it's hard to get. We need people. We need people. It's one of the reasons. I mean, when you have good people in the farm or good people in hotels and everything else, we want to work with them as much as we can. Under Biden, 1 out of 4 jobs
All
added
right, well,
was
I
a
need to
government
sign
job.
off. I didn't know how long you'd be talking.
25% of the
I gotta go
jobs
to a
added.
meeting.
That's when you
Thanks
know
all for
that,
joining,
that's 25%
and
of
if you're
jobs
seeing
aren't
this
real
in the
jobs.
future,
But
please
again,
leave
I could do
comments.
that.
You can
I could add
subscribe,
2 million jobs
or
right
you
now
can
would have.
follow my,
I could say just hire some more people.
so you can.
I do the opposite.
So you can, follow my commentary on world conflicts. I don't usually do a lot of lives, but because the president was going to speak, I figured I'd go live. But now I got to go jump on a conference call and talk to y'all soon.